Hello everybody, welcome back to the FM26 Youth Academy Challenge with Piacenza Calcio over in Italy, and, well, it started okay. In the last episode we had a few technical issues and therefore showed you the second league game of the season against Navarro, where we conceded an absolutely belting goal in the 88th minute to equalise. It might have even been the 90th, but it was a wonderful strike, and we came away with a 3-3 draw. But since then, diving into the game, we're actually in 12th, which isn't too bad. It's a 20-team league, and we're going to start this episode by actually discussing Serie C itself. So if we go and have a look at the league table, or click on here and then we'll be able to go and have a look at the league table, because, you know, extra clicks, that's the wrong thing. Serie C, here we go. So Serie C A, we are in 12th, which is decent. 34 games played, 4 games left to play, 38 game season in a 20 league season. And so there's a lot of different colours happening on this screen. So I realised I had no idea how Serie C worked. I just assumed there was like Serie C, A, B, C, and then the top 4 or 5 went into a playoff mix between all of those leagues, and then one got through to Serie B. That does not happen. Serie C is brutal. So once the Serie C regular season ends, Phase 1 of the playoffs begin. Phase 1. There's 3 phases, and it's pretty ruthless. In each of the 3 groups, the teams that finish from 5th to 10th qualify for Phase 1 of the playoffs. It's 6 teams per group with 18 teams in total. The matchups are pretty simple. 5th plays 10th, 6th plays 9th, and 7th plays 8th. Each tie is 1 match and 1 match only, and it's hosted at the higher placed team's stadium, so they get the advantage of playing at home. But the brutal part, and it is brutal, there's no extra time and no penalties. If the game is finished level after 90 minutes, the higher ranked team automatically goes through to the next round. It means the lower seeded teams have to win, and the higher seeded teams can just not afford to lose. They can play for a bit of a draw. Win, and you move on to Phase 2. Draw and lose, and your season is over, just like that if you're the lower placed team. Welcome to Serie C playoff football. So after that, you go into Phase 2. So the winners from Phase 1 go through into the next phase, which is Phase 2, obviously. And then in Phase 2, the team that finished 4th in the league enters the pot, as does the team that won the Serie C Cup. So they enter in later on as well, so they get a little bit of a break. It's still a single leg, still same advantage rules apply. The winners of those go into Phase 3. This is the national playoffs, the round of 16. Teams that finish 2nd and 3rd in each group join the winner. Sorry, this is where the Italian Serie C winner then comes into it. There's 2-legged ties, no away goals. Phase 4 is the quarterfinals. 8 teams remain, 2-legged ties as you normally would. And then Phase 5, semi-finals, and the final, 2 legs. 2 legs in the final as well, and the winner gets promoted to Serie B. That's how it all works. Confused? Yeah, let's see how it plays out. So although we're in 12th, which is a nice comfy spot to be in, between 12, 13, 14, 15 is like comfortable. It means you don't have a relegation playoff to worry about, which is the colours in orange. You don't have the promotion playoff to worry about. You get a big long rest at the end of the season. But we are also on the verge of qualifying into the playoffs. Now, 11th place won't be a playoff position. So 11th place is highlighted in every single division, just because it depends on who wins the cup. But the cup has been won by someone who is not Piacenza. Piacenza have won the cup, right? Piacenza are here, 14th. They've already won the cup. So 11th position in Serie C will be going to the playoffs, but 11th position in Serie C A and Serie C B won't be going to the playoffs. It will be the top 10. So 5 to 10 go through into that first phase. Second phase, they play each other. They decide who gets through. Second phase, more teams enter. Third phase, more teams enter. Then you go to the quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, and eventually you decide who gets promoted with each of the first place teams from Serie C, A, B, C. Mental, innit? Absolutely mental. And then if we go and have a look and jump into Serie B, which might take us a bit more time to click through, Serie B, not only do we have big teams in here like Sassuolo, Palermo, Cremonese, Genoa, Empoli, all massive teams at the top of the table, 3 teams go down automatically. 1 team then go down through a playoff. They get pulled into it as well. And it's these 2 teams will play off to decide who goes down. The 4 teams that come up replace them, and generally, nearly always go straight back down because the level of Serie B compared to Serie C is massive. So there's a quick introduction about how Serie C actually works. It's nowhere near as simple as I thought it was. But let's go and have a look at today's news because we've got to go through some fixtures, we'll look at some results, and then it's youth intake day. If I could sum us up as Piacenza Calcio in one word, it would definitely be patchy. We go on runs of draws and wins and then runs of losses. So yes, we started the season pretty well in the Cup, didn't we? Then we played Union Brescia, lost 3-0, drew with Navarro 3-3, beat Ospeletto 3-2, beat Lumezzane 2-0. Both of those teams predicted to be lower mid-table in Serie CA. We then didn't win for 8 games where we drew 4 and lost 4 in a row. 3 wins on the bounce saw us improve quite a lot, which was nice. We lost in the Italian Serie C Cup third round on penalties, which was very irritating. Penalties going all the way through until Granero missed the decisive penalty, and yeah, well, less said about that the better. He said in the news he was confident to step up and take a penalty again in the future, but given the fact he was our penalty taker number 8 or 9, that's probably not going to be the case going forward. We lost 2-3 more in the league, got 2 more draws as well, lost again to Union Brescia, but beat Ospeletto again, drew with Luminense, drew with Pro Pataria, beat Pergolettozzi, and then lost 4-0 to Mantova, who were top of the league at the time. Drew with Trento, beat Renate, drew with Suditrol, beat Lignano, beat Cittadella, lost to Albino Lefebvre, which out of all these fixtures, the board are pissed off about that one. I'm not too sure why. Drew 2-2 with Dolomiti Bellinese and beat Alizagano 3-0. So we've only got 4 games left of the season. We might snatch away into that playoff position, but generally we've actually been playing pretty damn well. We've got a goal difference of 0, we've scored 62, conceded 62, which is by far the worst in both. We've scored the most goals. Well, we haven't. We scored the second most goals because Trento have scored 63, but we've scored the second most goals and we've conceded the most goals. So we can pretty much tell where we need to improve. And I'm not joking. Goalkeeper is huge. Like, Leonard is just bad. He's just bad at being a goalkeeper, and add into the mix that he did pick up an injury as well, so then we had to call on Giorgio Seriolo for 2 games in the league, who is just worse. He is just worse. So yeah, we did go through a tough period there with goalkeepers as well. We have changed system. We are now playing a 4-3-3. It does suit the team a little bit better and allows us to sort of get the right people that we want in. The 3 at the back left us a little bit short, which meant when we did have an injury, we couldn't really cover. This came about because of injuries, is why we switched to a 4-3-3. Cufio is doing an okay job at left back. But yeah, it's allowing us to get the best out of Biacenti, Trombetta, and Mustachio Man out there as well. And the midfield is pretty strong and pretty stable in the midfield. We've also dropped our mentality from positive to balanced, and we've kept our style the same that we've been doing previously. We do have a little bit of press and a little bit of a little bit of press, a little bit of trying to keep the ball, but we do go direct when we want to try and hit Trombetta up front with the long balls as well. And in the last episode, I did say that we would be reliant on the older players in our squad. So Mustachio, Silva, D'Agostino, Trombetta, definitely up there as well. If we go and have a look at the actual stats in this, it's actually pretty ridiculous. If we go and let's look at goal attempts, because that will show us goal scorers. Goals for 32 for Michele Trombetta, our target forward up front. He is absolutely ruthless. We've given him a new contract for another year, but just in case we don't get a striker coming through. But the jumping reach just seems to be absolutely crucial in lower league football, like to scoring goals. He does score a lot of goals. He does score a lot of headers, 32 of them, which is absolutely insane. Mustachio Man's up there with 13 from the right wing as well. I think his technical and mentals are getting him out of quite a lot of trouble. Physically, he doesn't do very much, but when he's on the ball, he does have quite good technique. So at 37 years old, he's still doing all right, and he's got a year left on his contract as well. He got a 1-year extension just to keep us viable in terms of what we need and what we want to do. If we go have a look at general play, will that show assist? No, because their own views are rubbish, aren't they? Let's go for general info. Minutes wise, we can look in here. So yeah, 3,600 for Sabardella at the back, 33 years old. 3,301 for Trombetta up front. Polledri at 26 has 3,299. Puzzolo at 28 has 321 minutes. And Leonard, the goalkeeper, is then 5th on the list with minutes as well. So we are getting quite a lot of the older players are still getting minutes, which is normally the case in terms of these things that we see and how we go. That's the stats one. I have renamed all of these, but I don't know why it doesn't save the name. Well, I do know why it doesn't save the game, because, you know, it's Football Manager 26. In terms of assists, Christian Bianchetti is leading the way with 17, which I think is actually the most in the league as well. So if we go and have a quick look at the portal, then go to stages, click on Serie C, however we do it here. Yeah, so players-wise, we do have Trombetta up there with the most goals at 29, Biacante up there with the most assists at 15, Trombetta with the most shots at 149, and Biacante with the most key passes at 133. So we are... Going forward, we're quite a force. However, Trombetta will obviously drop off a cliff at some point. He's 33. Biacante is still relatively young, 23. Yeah, so he's probably one we'll look to keep around for as long as humanly possible. But I imagine we'll get snapped up by another Italian team at some point, to be honest. But all in all, the start of the season has been relatively good, and I'm pretty happy with where we sit, especially in the league. We're away from that relegation zone, 6 points clear of the relegation spot in 16th, which is awesome. We are closer to the playoffs. The playoff phases, we are 4 points off the playoff phase in 10th at Lecco. So all in all, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with how we are doing. But today is about one thing. We have one bit of news here from Antonio De Vitis for our new an intake of youth players, which is absolutely crucial. So we're just going to look at all this other bit of news. Here we go then. Our new intake is... Okay, good. 9 elite prospects coming through. Now, obviously, you've got to remember that for someone to be deemed elite, it means they're elite compared to your current squad and not elite in the world of football. But whisper it quietly, this could also be a so-called golden generation with Marco Carbone, the diamond in a very strong group of players. The youth candidates have been given trials. You can evaluate which one you want, and there will be a game between them. Okay, so 9 elite prospects. Right, we really want goalkeeper. I really want a goalkeeper, a left back, and I do think a striker would be quite useful. And I mean, we've got 9 elite prospects. If I could pick 5 positions for those elite prospects: goalkeeper, left back, striker, holding midfield, and centre back, I think is what I'll go for. Or right winger or centre back. I mean, our starting right winger is 37. I'd probably go right winger, to be honest. So let's have a look. 9 elite prospects. Marco Carbone is at the top. So we've got all these elite prospects. We've got a Serbian in there. We're going to have a quick look at national, and a Chechen in there as well. We've got a Ghanaian up there. No poor, decent, or good. So everybody's going to come through and will be good enough for the first team as it currently stands if they hit their maximum potential. Obviously, there's a lot that deals with that. Training facilities, personality, stuff like that, all counts as well. So we'll start at the bottom. This looks like a very good intake, which I'm very, very happy with. Now, I haven't set up a view for youth intakes yet. I need to still do that. So at the moment, we'll just be going off this page here. Roberto De Luca is an attacking midfield right centre who doesn't look great, but is 6'3", and I do like them tall. 6'3", jumping reach of 17, balance 13, flair 11, off the ball 11, technique 12. Everything else is pretty poor, but he is only 16 and he's got 3.5 star potential. So I quite like the fact he's tall at that age, but fitness is poor, strength is poor. Yeah, it's not amazing. Unambitious personality as well. Isn't necessarily bad, but it's not a bad start. It's not a bad start, Roberto De Luca. Enrico Negretti, right back. Fairly professional, 5'4", jumping reach of 1. Fitness 12, acceleration 13, aggression 12, bravery 17, determination 13, leadership 13, work rate 14, teamwork 10. Technique of 9, crossing of 6. Everything else is pretty poor. But yeah, could be a decent option. Could be a decent option. I like the fairly professional personality as well. That is helpful. Likes to get forward whenever possible, which does sort of suit the system we're playing in the 4-3-3 because the holding midfielder can cover. But yeah, okay. Enrico Negretti. It's not bad. I'm not expecting this to be world beaters, by the way, because we are a shit team. We are a shit team. So Marco Gislandi, Marco Gislandi, we'll go with. Unambitious, 5'10", aggression 15, leadership 11, technique 10, teamwork 10, balance 10, acceleration 10. Yeah, bit disappointing compared to what we've already seen, but some good potential in there, so you never know. Could grow into something relatively useful. Next up, the Ghanaian, Isaac Agriakawa. Isaac Agriakawa. Looks pretty good. Fairly sporting personality. That's a bit meh, but not too bad. Fitness 11, jumping reach 12, aggression 14, leadership 11, work rate 12, technique 14, tackling 12. Okay. Could be a pretty good retrained holding midfielder. Good technique and tackling is good. However, determination 7, that's not great. Finishing, we don't have to worry about finishing if we're going to play you more defensively. Positioning 6 needs to be better. Strength of 6 needs to improve. Yeah, okay, it's not bad. It's not bad. There's a lot of 9s, 7, 8s and 9s where he needs them, but there is a couple of 6s in there as well. So the Ghanaian looks okay. Looks okay. Francesco Santoro. Midfield left, attacking midfield left, 15 years old, mercenary personality. Fitness 15, pace 12, bravery 16, determination 12, flair 12, technique 11. There's definitely something to work with. The 4.5 star potential is doing a lot of heavy lifting for a mercenary on the left-hand side where we don't necessarily need a player with urgency because we've got Bianchetti out there, but Francesco Santoro looks okay. Mattia Farroni. Unambitious, 5'3", aggression 12, flair 12, teamwork 14, work rate 11, stamina 11, natural fitness 11, technique 11. Passing 9 is pretty good, acceleration 10 as well. Again, winger, right wing, we did need a right winger, so I'm not totally disappointed with it. It's okay. I'm hoping we've got another right winger that will be better, to be honest. Next up, that was Faroni. Next up, Art Chechen. Joseph Sisek, goalkeeper. Fairly professional goalkeeper. He's only 5'9". He's got a jumping reach of 5. That could be issues, but handling 12, reflexes 12, positioning 6 isn't great. Bravery 11, decisions 10, concentration of 3. I'm not going to do this for many players, but let's compare him very quickly to our actual goalkeeper, Leonard, and we'll see what's happening here. So, okay, so Josef is green, and green is not looking great. So Leonard will stay, unless we've got another goalkeeper in this intake, will stay as our first choice. The only thing Josef is better on is speed. Okay, and technically as eccentricity, because he's down at 1. But, yeah. Okay. That sort of paints the picture of how good a goalkeeper needs to be to come through, so not too bad. So that was the 7 top prospects done. We now move on to the elite prospects. And starting off is a right winger, which is good. I'm just looking in here. Do we have... No, we don't have another goalkeeper. We have a right winger, centre-back, left-back, forward, winger, centre-back, winger, centre-back, box-to-box midfielder. Okay. So Zayan Hentzi. Ooh, this could be a good right winger position. He's not the quickest. In fact, I would argue he's very similar to Mustachio Man that we've already got there. Personality unambitious, not too bad. Runs with ball often. He has dribbling 10, that's okay. Crossing 12, passing 7, technique 12. Flair 11, determination 14, aggression 15, teamwork 15, fitness 14, balance 12, agility 11, acceleration and pace are both 9. So actually think Zayan Hentzi could be a decent option off the bat. Now, if we compare him, I just said I'm not going to do this with every player, but if we compare him to Mustachio Man, right, look at that. He's quicker. He's got the same physicals. He's not far off him mentally, Defending, he's a lot worse, but we're not too worried about that. Aerially, he's worse as well. Technically, he's already the same, and he's only a little bit off vision and attacking. So I do think that could be ready-made replacement there. That is good. That's a good start to the elite prospects. I like that. Patrick Vayner at centre-back. 5'9", unambitious, jumping reach 7. You're going to struggle to make it as a centre-back if you can't jump. Technique 13, tackling 9, heading 6, aggression 19, anticipation 11, bravery 10, leadership 13, teamwork 15. It says elite prospect. I don't see it. I think there's too much work there to do to get an elite player for our level at Series C at the moment out of that. I think that potential ability is doing a lot of heavy lifting. If it was like professional or determined in terms of a personality, then maybe, but not sure. Left wing back, Simon Paracci. Now we need a left back. Unambitious. God damn it. Pace, jumping reach, agility and acceleration, all very good. I need to just have a drink, sorry. Oh, apologies, I'm still getting over the last bit of my cold, so I just need to have a cough and a drink there. Mentally doesn't look great, technically doesn't look great. Physicals are doing a lot of heavy lifting, but we know that the technical side of things is the easiest to train. Mental then comes naturally with game time, and physicals come with age. So, in theory, he could be quite a good left back in the future. He's got a lot of stuff he needs to improve on in terms of tackling, passing, first touch, dribbling and crossing, but generally could be okay. Mentally does look quite weak, so we'll have to see how he develops. But I do like those physicals for a 15-year-old. So Simone Paracci, not looking too bad. Roberto Arena, striker, channel forward. Here we go. Resolute personality, very good. 5'8", he's not the tallest and can't jump, but acceleration 11, agility 11, fitness 13, pace 13, stamina 12, determination 15, aggression 16, and finishing 14. Could well be a striker that if you get him in position, he will score. Or if you put him over the top with pace 13, that's better than a lot of defenders at Series C level. Put him in over the top into space, he could run onto it and then probably score unless he needs some composure. If he doesn't have to think about it, if it all comes down to natural instincts of finishing, then I feel like he could be pretty useful. I feel like that if he can, that's a good bit of potential for some good underlying starting attributes. Places his shots is really good as well. You can't train that. So can you train place shots? Maybe you can train place shots, but he looked pretty good. He'll be vying with Angelo Fucci. Angelo Fucci has the better name. Target forward. 6'2", fairly determined, that's much better. Jumping reach 13, balance 12, agility 11, bravery 12, determination 17, leadership 13, off the ball 12, heading 13, finishing 13. Oh, I like the look of Fucci. I do like the look of Fucci. Let's have a comparison to Trombetta. Oh, he's like a little mini-me, isn't he, of Trombetta? Look at that in the graph. Ooh, if he can develop, he may well be taken over from Trombetta because I love the aerial ability that you need. I do think as you go up the divisions, you don't necessarily need as much aerial ability. But, yeah, I given the fact they're both equal on attacking at the moment, that is good. That is good. It's a 32-year-old and a 16-year-old. We like that. Angelo Fucci, I think, is probably my favourite so far. We've got 4 to go. Next one is a left winger and another potential striker, Enrico Biffi. Okay, we are getting into the better players now. Balance personality, acceleration 14, agility 12, fitness 13, pace 14, flair 13, teamwork 14, technique 12. He's let down by finishing with 6 a little bit, but could be a very good bit of competition on the left-hand side for... I was going to call him bruschetta, but that's a type of bread and tomato. So, I've forgotten his name. Biancenti, that's his name. But yeah, so we'll see how he develops. But I am excited by that to start. As a 15-year-old, that is good. Vittorio Negretti, centre-back. Have we had another Negretti? Have we got Negretti brothers? I feel like we've got Negretti brothers. We do. Enrico Negretti at right-back. And then I have Vittorio Negretti as a centre-back. Temperamental, which is a bit annoying. 6'4" and jumping reach of 16. He might make it. Marking 11, tackling 7 is poor. Heading 9. Bravery 18. Positioning 10. He's got the basis of a good centre-back. He does. Negretti is the better brother of the two. Left-footed as well, so can play on the left side of defence. 6'4" with jumping reach of 16 is massively going to help. Set pieces, winning headers counts for a lot in terms of match rating and improvement and things like that. I think if you can probably train him up, if we just don't worry about all the other attributes and train him up as like a no-nonsense centre-back and see how he goes, that could be the plan. That could be the plan for Vittorio Negretti. Yes. Into the final two, we've got a left winger, which isn't ideal for one of the top two. And then we do have a box-to-box holding midfielder, which is ideal. That is what I wanted. So, Vincenzo Inverardi, fairly professional, 5'11", acceleration 14, fitness 12, pace 11, balance 10, jumping reach 10, determination 10, leadership 14, technique 12, crossing 9. Again, it's a bit of an overload in a position we don't need. He's got somewhat decent passing, so could potentially be trained as like a playmaker. But he does scream young winger. Now, the young wingers definitely on the left-hand side especially aren't going to step into the first team very soon. So they are going to have a bit of time to marinate and develop. Fairly professional is going to help him out. It's going to mean he trains relatively well every day and he's going to put the effort in. I'm annoyed if it was the same attributes on the right-hand side, I'd probably be a bit more excited. But I am excited about Marco Carbone. We needed a holding midfielder. We only have like one viable option at holding midfield. And if he's injured, we have to drop one of our main central midfielders into holding midfield and then bring in our young Romanian. So having a player that can play holding midfield and central midfield potentially straight away coming into the club is awesome. So Marco Carbone. Fairly professional, 5'10", stamina 12, fitness 14, aggression 12, bravery 11, decisions 10, determination 11, off the ball 10, positioning 12, teamwork 15, work rate 10. Can take free kicks, technique 11, tackling 9, passing 9, long shots 10, first touch 10. I think he looks good. He's an all-rounder and he comes with good mentals for his age at 16. Again, physicals are sort of there. They're sort of okay. They will improve given it a bit of gym time and age and things like that. Mentals, I think unless you play players a lot when they're young, I think mentals are the hardest to improve. I might be wrong. Technically, I think we can improve him enough to be whatever we want. Given the fact he can tackle and pass at 9 already, he's got 10 for long shots, marking and first touch. Okay, don't get him to dribble, don't get him to shoot. I think he's going to be a good player. I think he could be a good player. I think Marco Carbone could be a good player. Yes, let me know your thoughts. That is our intake, our first ever intake of this Youth Academy Challenge. I think it looks pretty good. I do think there's players there we can use and get excited about heading into the future. Of course, if you are a member of the YouTube channel membership thing where you pay that little bit extra to support, you can pick a player. You can let me know either in Discord or in the comment section. You can pick a player and your name will be taken over by that player. So you'll be in the game. You can only have one at a time, so that you'll be that player until they retire or they leave the club. You don't have to pick an early one. You can wait until later on, but that is just a way for me to say thank you to you for supporting the channel a little bit more. You can get your name in the game. But let me know in the comment section, who is your favourite one out of that intake? Who do you think is going to develop into a player that will be used a lot in potentially Season 2 or Season 3? And who do we have to keep an eye on? And who do you think is not going to make it? Who do you think we can bin off straight away? I think all of them will get a contract just because we need to fill the under-18s. But I think that's a good start. I think that's a good starting intake, which is pretty good. A quick catch up around the rest of the club then. Finances, we are bleeding money. That is normal in Italy though. We have dropped from like 450k to 40k as we get towards the end of the season. We don't make too much money in sponsorships. We're not paying too much in wages either at the moment. We are generally losing money every month, so that is a little bit of an issue. Hoping the board can bail us out a little bit. And we should get some prize money at the end of the season as well. I mean, if you get promoted, if we just have a quick look at... oh my god, this is such a confusing way to do it. Serie C A, and then look at rules, I think it is. Yes, you get 130k if you get promoted to Serie B. And then the rest of the money is dependent on how you do in the playoffs. So we'll have to wait and see how we do. But thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts about that youth intake, and we'll be back for the end of season mini review. And then the channel members will be getting an extended review, diving into a bit of player data and all that sort of stuff as well, so we can look at the underlying numbers and see how it's going. That'll be done for the channel members as an extra video as well. So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. All comments, all likes, all subscriptions are very much welcome, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.